What's up YouTube gamers, it's your computer engineering gamer back with some fresh new content, and I'm here to tell you how I beat Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic using only a blaster build. I'll give you the details as to the team I used throughout the playthrough and the weapons that were equipped on the characters. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Our first order of business is creating our character. For starters, we must choose a class. If you wanted a large overview of the classes, I dive deeper into them on my Force-only playthrough, but here I'll say Warrior is big and bulky with good feat progression. A Scout is average in all categories with automatic implant upgrades and grenade dodging. A Scoundrel gets a bonus to defense and sneak attacks with minimal health comparatively. I choose the Scoundrel class for the added +4 defense bonus by the time we leave Taris. Moving on to stat allocation. Obviously not a single point in strength needs to be allocated as this only supports melee builds and only hinders points going to other classes. We max out the dexterity points, sinking a total of 16 points into it. This grants me a +4 modifier right out of the gate to defense and our chance to hit targets, which is massive for the whole playthrough but especially the annoying beginning. Our second biggest concern is Constitution, as we want to stay alive. We won't use many skill points than others. Wisdom will help the max force powers and some saving throws. This is the final spread as you can see here. For the beginning feats, the most important to get are Toughness and two-handed weapons, as I am running blaster pistols on my main character, and Toughness will bolster our lower health as a Scoundrel. It's time to name our character. Nice. And we set off on our adventure with our awakening on the Endar Spire. For the gameplay, I'm going to fly through most of the beginning as there aren't any really major dealings that matter to the challenge, as you're supposed to advance through this section of the game without any Jedi anyways. I get the upgrade item found around Taris, travel the Undercity and sewers, send the people off to the Promised Land, pick up Zalbar and kill a Rancor, entering the base. We fight our first boss against Kandon, and as the first people to really use energy shields, I was a little worried. I had equipped Carth's blaster with some upgrades, but beyond that, we were shooting basic blasters here. The fight went smooth enough, however, and this reaped some weapon upgrades and completing the swoop price to save Bastila. Brejek attacks in response to this and puts me up against him and his gang. While Bastila attacks others, I can pick off the stragglers until Brejek focuses on me. My high dexterity stat allows me to dodge most attacks, but I use Zalbar's bowcaster as a higher crit chance than two blasters for me currently without having two weapons fully leveled. Once this is done, we mosey on over to the Sith base and get the launch codes. The Governor's fight was nothing special to go over. With that, we go finish the duel ring and then we fight Bendak Starkiller. We enter a death match with him and we kill him. Ensuing, we are allowed to get his blaster, which is the best blaster pistol that you can get on Taris that is upgradable and better than Carth's blaster. Equipping both Carth's blaster and Bendak's blaster is a supreme boost to the beginning of the game and our development of our character using blaster pistols. We make it to Davik's estate and steal the Ebon Hawk. Calo Nord and Davik equip energy shields, but with Carth, Canderous, and I blasting through with our own energy shields equipped and solo targeting Calo, we can whittle down Calo for the trigger of the ceiling collapse sequence. We make it to Dantooine, picking up Davik's armor on the way out and getting to select our Jedi class. So coming to Dantooine, I fully leveled out the Scoundrel class to get the bonuses for Sneak Attack and Scoundrel's Luck. For my Jedi class, I chose the Jedi Sentinel. The Sentinel is perfect for this build as I will not be using any offensive force powers, so a Consular would just continue to stab myself in the foot on health. However, Jedi Guardian, although having the most base health, provides no real bonuses throughout the game. The feats are nice, however I can't use the Guardian specific skill since I don't have a lightsaber, and when reaching the max alignment a Guardian only has physical damage or strength bonuses. The Jedi Sentinel is an absolute godsend of a class. The Sentinel saving throws are all high besides Wisdom, but that's okay because we are immune to force abilities and saving throws will be managed much better. The insanely good perks are Sentinel gains force power immunities to stack on for a defensive build, and I have been managing with the Scoundrel bonuses. The other major factor why this is the best is that the light side alignment gains a +3 Constitution modifier, gaining us an additional 40 health when it comes to the end game since I have an odd number of Constitution and this gives me a +2 point modifier when it evens out, and 1 point per level of modifiers. The max level is 20. Beyond this point, I will only gain massive amounts of strength as my dexterity is already high to hit and avoids hits. My health is set up to skyrocket and I have force immunities and still a decent fate spread. With this, we head out and face Juhani, and I gotta be honest, for the first Jedi enemy in the game using blasters, she's a complete underwhelming experience. I wasn't sure how often or successful enemy blaster deflection rolls were, but I was able to cut through hers with ease. As you can see here, I attempted to use the sniper shot ability to stun her at the beginning, but to no success. I had the skill at base level, so my crit range are only double, which are all 5 or 10% chances as of now. However, you can see how much my dexterity is involved in this fight, as even taking a -5 to my defenses as a penalty of sniper shot, I never really managed to take any damage. I saved Juhani after beating her and sent her back to the council. I see the star map and head to Tatooine as my first planet, as it is usually my first planet in playthroughs. This brings us to our first group encounter with Dark Jedi, and I tackle this with Carth and Canderous. I'm aware of the danger around the corner, so with some prepping of shields and energy resistance, we enter the fight. I take the time to set up specific targeting on the strongest enemy, and we all whittle him down with our high dexterity and armor stats protecting us from damage. With this strategy, one by one they fall. This allows me to access the final companion, HK-47, and talk things out with the Sand People, unlocking access to the Crate Dragon, which gets handily blown up with mines. Exiting the cave following our second star map completion, we are greeted with Calo Nord and his group of bounty hunters. They are far enough to enable a force speed bonus on top of the party's energy resistance before entering the fray. This group is overall weak, with the strong focal point being Calo with an active energy shield. We easily dispatch the thugs with rapid shots and stack up on Calo with the same, and knock down the bounty hunter and grab his armor. Calo's armor gets immediately added onto Canderous as the low dexterity bonus and high defenses with mind-affecting immunity provides an excellent set of armor for this average dexterity and strength build character using a heavy blaster. Also on Tatooine, I grab the most important weapon for my character, Cassius Fett's heavy pistol. With stun chance and massive damage, this pistol is a beast, and you can check out even more about it in my other video on the purchased special weapons. Next, we enter the densely populated forest on Kashyyyk, bringing along Zalbar on his homeworld, as well as Carth never shutting up about it and reminding me more than 3 times about it. We tackle the Dark Jedi on the wooded platform. They weren't much to deal with some prep force powers, and we're down in the Shadowlands. Down here, we have the opportunity to face our first Torrent attack, previously warned about on Dantooine. This hulking beast comes for the corpse we hang, and making sure Jolie and I have force bus keeps us healthy. To take it down, Carth starts spamming rapid fire as he does with many boss fights for its best use. I take the chance to use Power Shot with force speed to get multiple powerful shots off. After getting the star map, I remove Chundar from power as you can see here. And with that, we leave Kashyyyk absolutely better than when we found it. There is about nothing exciting on Manaan besides blasting through many crazy Selkath that are pretty weak. Our journey, however, brings us to Malak's apprentice, aka the asshole from the opening who kills our boy Trask. I prep with force speed on my character and Jolie, prep Carth with rapid fire, and set all of us to attack the back right Dark Jedi to remove an opponent quickly. He falls quickly and shortly followed by the other Dark Jedi. However, I have to deal with some stuns from Bandon as my characters don't have a very high wisdom saving throw with 2 warriors. He falls, however, and we exit Manaan to get captured by the Leviathan. I just want to vent a bit. Manaan pisses me off. I've never been more annoyed with a game as I am with the underwater walking. Now this is how you do a slow moving area correctly. The open space with the starfighters flying by and the blue galaxy waves are a sight to behold, as well as the short walk between the doors can be completed pretty quickly. The underwater section on Manaan is the absolute worst part of this game as it is too long. Having to pause for the fraction sharks, and not only is there a single section, but 2 you have to go through, that each take longer than this spacewalk. So I take my frustration out from this recollection by killing Saul, for Carth and I's both sakes. I mainly prioritize the Dark Jedi in the back because if they aren't targeted they will spam the drain life. Then we remove the farm herd of weak troopers and blast away Saul himself. Then he whispers some sweet nothings in Carth's ear and I found out I'm Revan for Malak, so I blast him away in a single round because he's a soft little boy who needs to watch his mouth if he even had one. Then I beat his ass a second time around, and Bastila decides to waste herself for no reason because I'm clapping this fool. On Korriban, I become a super cool undercover Sith, and then I attack not only Uthar but also Uthura, because why would a Sith need to use me? I also don't have the persuasion to turn her to the light side anyways. These two get clapped by targeting Uthura, who is much weaker as she is an option fight, and Uthar is stronger because you may fight him with or without Uthura, and it is always required. I have to heal a lot here because my wisdom is trash and I get stun locked, and Force Lightning always deals damage which can't be blocked or dodged with my high dexterity. But this blaster wielding boy overcomes with the power of the lesser civilization.
So uncivilized.
Speaking of undercivilized people, talking about the One and his Rakatan. Bunch of savages, however they have tamed young Rancors, so we must attack them to get their absolute harming damage out of the playing field. They are also pure strength beasts, so even with our high attack and +4 defense from force speed and +4 from scoundrel class, these things hit more often than not. The One is easily shot down, and we use the elders to enter the Rakatan temple and face down Bastila. Bastila thinks she's so strong now that she has gone to the dark side, and then literally gets blasted in the face in 3 seconds and runs away to big guy Mr. No Jawline. These are my stats as we enter the Endar Spire. My saves are enormous, with the +3 and +4 for my hand and belt gear, as well as the +3 light side sentinel constitution bonus, with a +1 from an implant as well. We fight through rooms with the Starforge assault droids, and then get constantly berated by Dark Jedi, Sith apprentices, and heavy assault troopers, launching a cacophony of grenades, lightsabers, and blaster fire, and force powers our way while we just shoot our blasters back like a trio of absolutely uncivilized chads. HK is using his Ion Baragwin blaster and Baragwin assault rifle from Subam, and Canderous has a 6-24 damage with a +24 fire damage Baragwin assault heavy blaster, also from Subam. These waves can be annoying to progress, however I understand the necessity, as we are entering the final battle station filled to the brim with the Sith army, so it only makes sense there's these troops here. On the way through, I grabbed the Starforge robes you can get from a computer down the hall of the second area prior to the command center. These have the same stats as the Queldroma robes I picked up on Korriban, except they add another +2 to all saving throws. Look at that stat spread. We encounter Bastila and smack her cheeks like 4 times over. I utilize a good amount of energy resistance to soak up some of her force lightning damage and force speed to maximize my damage output. I come out and profess my love, and she professes love for me, which, like, honestly, who can blame her? I'm an absolute crack shot, a handsome devil, and a master force wielder. So I convert her back to the light side, and use battle meditation to save the Republic fleet from certain doom, while I go to confront the Dark Lord himself. Well, at least after I redo the fight, because the first time I completed the fight I was met with this entire conversation and cutscene, and then a respawn death back on the Endar Spire at the start of the game with my full gear. Nice one, BioWare. We come to the heart of the Starforge and face Malak, and I gotta say this image is fantastic to bring you to the fight. During the fight, as the absolute mega chad I am, I don't have anything to get rid of the captured Jedi, so I let him heal over and over to continue to humiliate him that the Dark Lord of the Sith is being punked by his old master with blasters. As you can see between each round, he scurries off to heal with his precious Starforge, and I just take the second to re-up my alacrity and battle stimulus, which I have been saving the game for this moment, and then re-enter the fight fully healed. After enough rounds of that, the scum falls, and I return to my trusted sideman Carth and newly found lover Bastila. Know that Malak is defeated, with my whole heart feeling for my former apprentice as Bastila delivers this deadpan response.
That's wonderful news.
We make it out of this destroyed Starforge, celebrate on the Rakatan planet, and that is how I, Blast 'em Up, beat Star Wars, Knight of the Old Republic, using only blasters. If you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate it if you could take a moment to subscribe and look forward to future videos on the channel. I'm slowly growing and learning how to do this, but I enjoy doing it and I want to continue to do so on my free time for any who do enjoy. So until next time, remember, a man is lost without the sauce, but that same man can get lost in the sauce. Thanks again for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Later, gamers.